I'm here with Robert Davi. I know him as growing up watching you on the Goonies. You were always like kind of a mafia character. I feel actually pretty intimidated right now, but so excited that you were here at CPAC. Tell me what brings you here.
Well, first, you shouldn't be scared. I mean, I played a lot of good guys. I did a TV series called Profiler where I was the head of the FBI. And
well, FBI nowadays, I don't know if that's necessarily
back
a
in
good
my
thing.
day, this was 96 to 2000, and this is when they were pure.
Okay.
So anyway, and they were great guys I met back then anyway, researching at Quantico and stuff. But what brought me to CPAC is a film called My Son Hunter that I recently directed in Serbia, of all places. And so that's why I'm here, doing some interviews, talking about the film.
Incredible that you broached this subject. I mean, it's a glaring situation that mainstream media has pretty much ignored or tried to blame on Russians. So what kind of resistance did you get in broaching this subject?
Well, I didn't get resistance because I didn't ask anyone's opinion. I mean, the filmmakers or the producers, Philip McAleer and Magdalena and Anne McAleer, came to me and gave me the script. I read the script. I was familiar with the story. And then I said, I'd like to do this if I was able to do it something like what David O. Russell did with the Abscam story, American Hustle. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes.
But to handle it with a bit of satirical wink, and but not demonize the characters. So I don't demonize the. I read The Beautiful Things, the autobiography of Hunter Biden. I got a lot of information from that. It was already a good script by Brian Godswa and Philum, where they tell the story. But I wanted to flesh it out much deeper in terms of the personal aspects of Hunter's life, his drug addiction. Because that's a crisis. Drug addiction is a crisis. So I don't hold back. I show that. I show the sexuality. I show the bed of Hunter's life, and then bring him into his father's life, and then how he used, if you want to say influence or connections, to make deals in the Ukraine, for instance, in China, for instance, and other places around the world where he made these deals. So it's an interesting story. Lawrence Fox, English actor, plays Hunter Biden. Does a great job. I mean, really. And
did you have a lot of interest in playing these characters, or was it hard to find people?
No, there's a great group of talents, you know. Lawrence Fox is one of the... he is a bit controversial in England because he's very outspoken. His family, though, is a dynasty of actors. Ed Fox and James Fox, his father, worked with some of the biggest English directors, as he did. And John James from Dynasty plays Joe Biden. And you get people that are afraid to tackle the material because of the nature of it. And Gina Carano plays a Secret Service agent in it. And I've got this great actress who's like a young Michelle Pfeiffer that we found in Serbia to play the female lead.
Amazing.
And there's resistance because, again, if it was the Trump family, and again, I handled it not trying to be, you would think conservatives are going to make a film that are going to be totally, look, it's going to piss off, I'm sure, the left, because they're going to look at something that they've been ignoring, and they're going to see it dramatized in a classy way, in an interesting way. And that's going to frighten them. And I think the right might say, well, you sympathize them too much. You know what I mean?
That's interesting take.
You know what I mean? There could be some of that, or maybe but people I've showed it to enjoy the film, and it's very powerful.
Now, when you said satirical, it instantly made me think of the movie, I think it was called Dick, about Dick Cheney, and Christian Bale plays the lead, does a great job. Have you had a chance to see that? And
yes, I did.
I mean, this shows that this was, kind of critical of the right. So, I mean, all's fair.
Yeah, but not when it comes to the left.
Not fair when it comes to the left. That's so true.
And also Hollywood. Hollywood does not. I mean, it's okay to bash whatever they disagree with, but and it's not bashing. It's just exposing. It's just saying, hey, here's what's happened. I mean, look at what's happening in the Ukraine right now because of the policies of the left. We've weakened America with this woke generation. We've in World War II we had Germany and Japan. Now we have Russia and China, and now add Iran into the mix and North Korea. And it's kind of a serious time, and you need strong leadership, and America needs strong leadership and we've given away the keys to the kingdom. How do you stop Keystone? How do you stop our fossil fuel dominance? It's an absurdity to me.
Isn't it a little bit strange how the positions have seemed to flip-flop? It seems like the Republicans were the ones that are like, we need to go to war, we need to go to war. And now it's like, seems like it has flipped. And all of the people on the left, the Democrats, are chomping at the bit to have World War III.
Yeah, I don't know exactly that dynamic, but there is some absurdity. I mean, they keep bringing up the term Hitler in terms of Putin. How come they don't bring up Stalin? Why don't they bring up Stalin? I mean, the left worships Stalin. A lot of the left was very, you know what I mean? But Hitler is the guy, you know what I mean? And every time there's another Hollywood elite talking about Hitler or this or that, but no one's talking about Joseph Stalin and the deaths he caused, more than Hitler.
That's a really good point.
And to the Ukrainian people. They starved the Ukrainian people, Stalin. So why isn't that reference point being brought up forward? And again, what I said is we should have, if we have these forces in the world that are starting up, our machine has to be, what they did for the vaccine, they need to do that for manufacturing and for our medicines. We've got to bring that back to America. We've got to stop this globalist nonsense because it's going to get you more and more into this piecemeal of trouble, shutting off Keystone, then letting Germany have that pipeline with Russia. Just under 50% of all of Europe's oil and gas come from Russia. That's billions and billions and billions of dollars.
And I mean, essentially, we're funding this war. We're funding Putin because we just gave them billions of dollars for that.
Exactly. So why don't we have why isn't America? Why aren't you making sure that the people in Congress and the Senate go to your people, say to them, why aren't we opening up Keystone? Go to Biden, put pressure on the left. I'm all for clean energy. I'm all for clean air and clean water. I'm all for the environment. But it becomes an absurd dance of what's worse, World War III, nuclear weaponry. I mean, it's insane.
Bringing it back to the movie, I want to ask for how you did your research on this. I know Peter Schweitzer just came out with that book, really digging into the interesting connections with the Biden family. Did you look at that book? Like, what kind of background did you use?
Well, we had copious research between Philip McAleer and Ann, who were both journalists, very big journalists. They did that love story between the FBI people and they did Goswell, but they're world-class journalists. So they did tremendous research along with the writer Brian Godswa, and then my own research. And that was before the books came out and before the other things came out. So we had,
So you're very confident in your portrayal of accuracy.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the way we handle it is humorously in some ways, you'll see.
So how and when can we see this?
I would hope, we're in post-production now. I've got to do the regular things you do with sound and CGI and the rest of it. So that's up to the distributor when the right time is to release the picture.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't exactly know yet.
Well, we're going to definitely be keeping an eye out. I do want to ask you, do you feel like you've been ousted by Hollywood just for being willing to look at the other side?
Oh, absolutely. Well, also being very outspoken.
Yes.
I'm not like a quiet, I've written for Breitbart for a decade, Andrew was a good friend of mine, and I've written many articles critical of the left and critical of Hollywood, especially. So, yeah, there are times when my manager says, hey, they're interested for you in this picture. And then he'll say, they brought up the flag and somebody objects because of, they'll read something about my politics. Because I'm quite, I don't believe in critical race theory. I don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement. I believe that we should stop, I'm very outspoken with all of that. And it can get you, they don't let you in the country club.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the younger generations? I'm a mother of 3, and I'm so worried about these younger generations and the way they've been indoctrinated, and it's just never ending.
I had a daughter who's 21 now. 10 years ago, she came to me and said, Dad, I'm ashamed of being white.
Oh, my God.
10 years ago. I says, what are they teaching you in school? So this has been incremental. Ronald Reagan fought the communist. See, they have said you're racist, you're a misogynist. So they paint people into a corner and they staple their tongues to their foreheads, so they're afraid to speak out. And the people have to have more courage, and they've got to speak out and say, no, you're a bigot. You want to call me a racist? You're a bigot. And they have to then. David Horowitz wrote a book called The Art of Political War. David Horowitz was a lefty. He was a communist. He was with the Black Panthers. He saw how they use agitprop and everything else. And the only one that was doing it, really, was Donald Trump. Donald Trump came out, and he understood that. And, of course, they assassinated him politically in many ways with Russia collusion and all the other nonsense and worrying about a few little tweets that are uncomfortable. Look, nobody's perfect, but his policies were much better for this country than the policies of the left. And I'm worried about the children because this woke generation is I call it the lobotomized generation. You know, I mean, it's not woke. You have China and Russia who are strengthening their male, and we have America who are effeminizing and weakening our males and making our females into these screaming whatever it is. And if they do, if women and mothers go to the school boards and complain about the program, they demonize them as terrorists, domestic terrorists. This is a sham, and we've got to unite up against this and combat this infiltration. Reagan did in the 40s. Ronald Reagan was considered a one-man wrecking crew of the Communist Party in America. Did you know that?
No.
In the 1940s and 50s. He went into the belly of the beast because the communists had infiltrated Hollywood big time, and the unions. And they still have. And, you know, to say they haven't, and whether it's communist Chinese or from Russia, there's elements, Marxist, you know, you have, and it's just rampant. And we can't be afraid of saying it and demonize for believing it because you've seen it. I've seen it. I've got a few more decades on you. I know this educational process. I've seen it over the decades. Yeah. I've seen what they've done to this country and to education and to the children.
Well, I think your strong stance and your encouraging people to be courageous is what many of us are starving for. And being at CPAC, I feel like there's an undertone of many people that feel like conservatives have been too weak. What are your thoughts on that?
I've written about it. You could read my writings on Breitbart. I say the GOP is brain dead. Yeah. And they're stupid. They're afraid to speak out. And so that means basically they're all in bed with the same political apparatus.
You in a party.
Yeah. And they look at, how can you help? You want to be part of the club. So these guys go at the floor and they say this, they say that. They make backroom deals for themselves, not for the country. How can we have bills continually that have 4,000 pages? Yeah. One bill, one page, one vote. That's what we have. We have to, term limits. Why are we not demanding this? Why are we not saying, wait a second, there's something rotten?
Can you just run for president? Because this is great.
Well, I don't know. I'm hardly equipped for that job. But I can.
I don't think you have to be nowadays, apparently.
Well, these career politicians sure don't have the common sense to take care of this country and to our people. You know what I mean? So I think that's a big issue. Any final thoughts, words, anything I didn't ask you that I should have? No, not at all. Just pray for the country, pray for the people in Europe and the Ukraine, and hopefully that this doesn't go too far out there. It's a scary thing. And we handle Ukraine in our film, My Son Hunter. We handle the deals that Hunter Biden made with Burisma. Now, if there's people that want to make sure that they're supporting this movie, there is a way to donate, and there's also a way to get updates. Can you tell me? That's with Felum. Felum! Felum! We can just add this in later. It's fine. Magic of editing. How do they donate to the film? She wanted to know how do they donate to the film? Oh, mysonhunter.com. Mysonhunter.com. All right. Okay. And that's how we can get updates. Yeah, you can get updates. Go to mysonhunter.com. And you can help support this film, get updates on it, and it's going to surprise people. I'm really looking forward to watching this. Awesome. Thank you so much.